How does it feel revisiting what was clearly the meanest 3D Mario of all time? I'm Backrolls.
And I'm Mac Fraser, and welcome to the Nintendo Nerds, a series where we talk about art, design, and all things Nintendo.
So stick around, because in today's video, we'll be having our review discussion of the Super Mario 3D All-Stars collection.
The game that everybody saw coming for a long time, but Nintendo never talked about it, and then they did, and now it's here.
Yes, for a system that has been a lot of retro ports, it's really nice to have these in the collection. I must admit, playing Super Mario 64 makes me a little sad that N64 Online is probably never going to be a realistic possibility, but that's okay. That's a different conversation for another time. I'm still really enjoying revisiting games like Super Mario 64 and the entire collection. How about you?
I would say that I've enjoyed it so far. I've made sure to beat Super Mario 64 first. I'm going through these things in sequential order here. It was a nice thing to revisit, and it's amazing how much you remember over the years, and how much of it is still kind of muscle memory, you know?
Well, that I definitely agree with across the board. I definitely played all three of these, so actually both of us are revisiting all three of these games, so we're taking a perspective from someone who has spent a lot of time with this before. And that being said, I think that there will be some mixed feelings from me as far as like whether I would offer this up as a newcomer if you were looking at this game from scratch, but we can definitely dig into that. How are you feeling? Should we just go one down the line each and then offer kind of our wrap up at the end?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Cool. Then Super Mario 64, the classic. I completely agree with you what you said about muscle memory. You jump back into Bob-omb Battlefield and the music starts playing and you remember that you have to circle this post 3 times and coins spring out. Those things that really stuck out to me. Yeah, you have already 100%ed it. I'm close behind you. So you have completely wrapped up Super Mario 64. What's your primary takeaway from that?
You know what, for a game that's as old as it is, the first thing that I have to say about it is that I think that Mario controls incredibly well.
Yes.
It's really quite surprising when you think that this was like really the first kind of foray into 3D platforming and kind of would create, you know, the architecture for some of the platformers to come after, not only in the era of N64 and PS1, but, you know, eras since then kind of thing. Yeah, I think that it's really smooth and fluid. I think that it runs fairly well. One of the things that I like, and I know that it's not like a full-blown like remaster or you know, HD, it makes you feel like you're seeing the game the way that you remember it.
Yes.
Because I think that back in the day,
crisp, exactly.
Yeah, because back in the day, I don't think that it was nearly as clean. Like if you were to throw it into an N64 and throw it on one of your TVs today, I don't think that it would look as good as you think you remember it does.
It definitely doesn't. I even revisited the 3DS remaster and right before I jumped into the All-Stars, and even that one I went, oh, maybe I don't want to play this one before I jump into the original. And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I completely agree with you that I actually think, camera problems aside, because the camera will always be junky in Super Mario 64 and we're just kind of used to that, I think that Super Mario 64's Mario kind of handles the best of all of them. I didn't like jumping into Super Mario Sunshine after 64 and not having the long jump. I really was like, wow, it's amazing. I think Super Mario 64's Mario handles a little better.
I think that they all just handle a little bit differently, because in each of these 3 increments of Mario, they kind of have like just slightly different control setups. Like the thing is, like in Sunshine, you lose the long jump, but you gain the abilities with Flood to kind of hover and all that kind of stuff. But in Galaxy, you get the spin, and you also get the long jump back. So I think that they're all kind of like minor variations on each other, but we were a little spoiled with Super Mario 64 with the fact that we had the long jump, the backflip.
True, and I probably have just, maybe I'm coming from that perspective because I've played Super Mario 64 and replayed it the most. I'm like, gotta go fast. I just really blow through Super Mario 64 in a way that I don't in Sunshine and Galaxy, because I haven't played those as many times.
That was one of the things that I realized while I was playing Super Mario 64, is I was playing it like a Sonic game.
Yes.
It was just kind of like, let's go, let's do this fast.
Yeah, I'm not speed running in this against Mac. We did not put a timer up or a challenge. Why am I rushing through the 8 coins like my life depends on it? I agree. But it's the familiarity with it. It's the fact that we can blow through that one. So that being said, it looks really good. I agree with you. It looks like it does in our childhood memories. The camera is as frustrating as it's ever been. And I will say, we both brought this up offline beforehand, that the remaster does bring some things to light that you maybe didn't notice as a kid, particularly in levels like the booze house when you're really far away. The textures of Mario become much blockier whenever he moves, and it's a little distracting because when he holds still, it reverts back to the larger Mario. And I'm definitely splicing in this like Exorcist moment I've got of Mario flickering in the hallway.
But yeah, I think that Mario hops into low poly mode a little bit more than we would have ever realized back in the day.
Yes, and it's kind of refreshing and charming to see it, but it at a certain point, I thought, looking at both Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy a little bit, I was like, sometimes this kind of just feels like a test demo of what the hardware can do.
Yes, and I would agree with that.
But that being said, that's probably because I thought Super Mario Sunshine, it wasn't a GameCube debut, and they really took their time. That one was delayed a lot, I believe, through, if I remember my gaming history correctly. And I think because of that, it feels the most conceptualized as a whole piece. I think it's got such magnificent art direction, and for my partner, I was like, I think that's actually the one you should start with. So I said that I think Super Mario Sunshine is a really strong entry in here. What about you? What did you think of Sunshine?
So first of all, I want to say that they cleaned this one up really well. I think it looks great. I think one of the things that was really cool about Super Mario Sunshine is that they really were on track with a specific like art direction of what they were trying to achieve, because it was all supposed to be within the Isle Delfino kind of thing. Felt pretty cohesive. It's better than I remember it so far. I have to be honest, like having some of these newer Mario games to play, especially Odyssey, where it made me look at some of these games a little bit differently in the way that I execute the things that I do. I'm finding that I'm playing this game differently than I did in the past. I was always, go through the first world, Bianco Hills and get everything, and then I move on to the next one kind of thing, or do that as much as humanly possible. This time I'm kind of jumping around a little bit and doing other things and just kind of having fun and seeing kind of how I can get up the levels in different ways. I'm liking it more than I thought I would. It really is playing quite fun, and I'm enjoying it a lot.
Well, when you said you weren't playing it sequentially, I was like, I think Mac needs a temperature check. That's not like you at all.
No, it really isn't. It's really not.
But Sunshine really feels playful. It feels vibrant. I think it looks the best of all the three, honestly.
I would agree.
Because once again, it felt like Galaxy. We'll get to Galaxy, but Super Mario 64. When you enter those Bowser in the Sky levels, you're like, this just feels like N64 was crafting blocks in space. I do.
Yeah, they threw some shapes together, and it was kind of like, okay, now what do we do with this?
It was the pioneer, but then you look at a game like Banjo-Kazooie and the worlds they built, and I think Banjo-Kazooie is a stronger platformer than Super Mario 64.
And that's fair. I'm sure that there's a lot of people that would agree. I've never played those games, so I don't know.
But going back to Sunshine, I think that Sunshine looks great. I really enjoy revisiting it. It's such a playground for a seasoned Mario player. Again, I think if you're new, this one is tough. It's unforgiving. There are moments where it takes away you get used to the FLUDD, and then it's like, welcome to the levels where we take away the FLUDD. And then everything is going to be like original Mario platforming, but super punishing in 3D. Now, run on sand that will fade away and you could drop into space. There's some brutal shines that you have to get in Super Mario Sunshine if you really want to be a completionist about it.
Well, and the issue is when you don't see that jet pack, you think suddenly you can long jump again, when that is not a mechanic that exists in this game. One of the things that I kind of noticed actually when I was playing it this morning was that some of these kind of off the beaten path, here's a platformer with some crazy things going on in the background kind of thing. It really makes me think of Galaxy and the way that Galaxy felt and the way that Galaxy looked. So again, it's funny to see how these games build on each other and perhaps where some of the visual cues get their inspiration from, like later on down the line.
Yes, as a longtime Mario fan, it is nice to see the layers built right on top of each other, especially when something like Sunshine or Galaxy, it's been a long time since I've revisited it.
But it's really nice because honestly, it's been over 10 years since I played it, and I'm having a blast playing it. Super Mario 64, I had fun playing, but again, because I played it so many times, it was kind of like going through the motions, and truthfully, it was just, I needed to get through it because I wanted to play Sunshine, but I wanted to do them in order. I didn't want to be jumping around, and so I had to make sure Super Mario 64 was completed first.
Well, in that, you still did dabble a little bit in Galaxy before we began the conversation, and I'm slightly further ahead of you than Galaxy, so why don't you start off our conversation on that one and what your takeaways are?
I don't have like a huge... I don't have strong opinions for Galaxy. I don't. Like, it's a fun game. Super Mario Galaxy 2 is also a fun game. I have spent some time with... I never even, like, completed Super Mario Galaxy, but they're fun. I like the playstyle. I will say I find... Because I jumped into it just to try kind of like the controls and see how they worked out, just so we could talk about it a little bit. Because I had done that directly from Sunshine, the game feels a little bit dark. I see I see what they're doing with the art style and everything like that. But again, it's just because I think Sunshine had so much more of a cohesive direction in what they were trying to convey. Yeah, it just, I don't know. I think it's going to be fun. The motion controls seem kind of interesting. I have to be honest, I felt like I was mashing that R button a lot to get that cursor back to the middle of the screen.
I found it easy. I have now played some extended time on both a Joy-Con, on set of Joy-Cons and on a Pro Controller, and I find it to be more consistent with a set of Joy-Cons. Much like Super Mario Odyssey, I would say, I would recommend charging your Joy-Con controllers for this one.
I'll have to give it a try. Where are you at with this? How far are you in Galaxy, and what do you think so far?
Well, I 100%ed Galaxy back in the day, and I have not gotten that far at this point. I've like 20 stars in or something like that. So enough to have garnered a take on it. I really, really, really enjoyed playing through Galaxy back in the day, and the way that the galaxies unfold. People say that this is the Mario on rails, which is true, but I don't necessarily mind that. I find it pretty enjoyable, and I find the way that the checking off of completion of galaxies, you earn your crown on the little galaxy when you've checked off all the possible stars you can get from it. I find that really satisfying, and in the remaster, there's a lot of things on the Wii that were really clunky that have definitely benefited from a repolishing. Graphically, I do think, like Super Mario 64, some of these are just blocks in space, and it's been a long time since I've revisited this one or Galaxy 2. I don't remember if Galaxy 2 really improved upon that.
So many of these games are so good for so many different reasons, though, right? They all have their shining moments and moments where we say, well, that could be a little bit better.
True, exactly. For all the amazing world building that Super Mario Sunshine does, you finally get to Peanut Park, and then you have to do that kind of nightmarish blast the rockets into Robot Bowser's face.
Oh yeah, on the roller coaster. Yeah, it's. I have to say, overall, I've been having a pretty good time with the collection. I'm a little, because of my limited time with Galaxy, I'm going to be interested to see how much I enjoy it when I have to spend a lot of time with it and the control scheme that they've kind of come up with. I might heed your warning on this one, though, and actually like put through the motion controls and use the Joy-Cons for it and give it a try instead of the Pro Controller, though, just to see if it's a little bit better.
I think it's better to play that way, just with the recentering of the motion controls, like you said, like using the accelerometer. I think the Joy-Cons are just more responsive. And also, I think in the remaster, setting the spin on the Y button is really smart, because you always have to shake your Wii remote. Now, I find that both encouraging and frustrating at the same time, because that is an accessibility point. On the other hand, that is about the only thing they offer as an accessibility point. If you are someone who needs any kind of accommodation, don't pick up Super Mario 3D All-Stars, because this offers no button remapping of any kind across any of the games.
Yeah, I have to say, I have lots of positive things to say about this collection, but I will say there are some things where you think, okay, they did just kind of throw this together. and that might be one of them, because, you know, even if they had to build emulators to kind of run these games on the Switch, it would have been nice to see, in the year 2020, maybe a little bit more accessibility, options to change your control settings and things like that.
Options to change your controls. I would have liked to have seen really much of anything at the pause screen. It confuses me sometimes that some Nintendo games will offer so many settings down to the nitty-gritty, and then you encounter a game like this Mario Collection or Animal Crossing, and you can't adjust a thing.
Mario Kart?
Exactly. And so I do find that while I love these games at their core, would I give this a 10 out of 10 stellar remaster? What a great collection. No, I would not. I would say if you're a newcomer to Mario, this is your first time picking up video games, maybe Super Mario Odyssey would be a better use of your time than revisiting these three. If you're a Mario Collection nostalgia freak like Mac and I, then I think this is worth your time. That's it.
This is a collection for Nintendo fans, like longtime Nintendo fans. Yes. You know what I mean? They really played the nostalgia card, like you said, on this one. And you know what? Like I said in one of our previous videos, I do a lot of grumbling about like HD remasters and stuff because there's so many of them. But honestly, like with these three games, the price point that they were offered, because I grew up with Mario and I really like these games, having an opportunity to play them on the Switch altogether is really nice. But again, yeah, if you didn't grow up with them and you're not familiar with them, let's just be honest, like Super Mario Odyssey, Super Mario 3D World are going to be more polished games that are going to that are going to give you more of what you expect. If you didn't really grow up playing, you know, games in the N64 PS1 era, you know, Super Mario 64 might not be for you.
Yeah, I just generally agree. I think if you're a nostalgia fan, it's worth picking this one up before it enters its Nintendo vault, before it enters the Disney vault of sorts. That's about all we have for our takes on this 3D collection. Did you pick up a copy of Super Mario 3D All-Stars? And what are some of your opinions on it? Be sure to sound off in the comment section below.
Thank you so much for watching. For more nerdy content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button.
As always, we hope you leave this video ready to pick up a Pro Controller, a paintbrush, or a pen. I'm Backrolls.
And I'm Mac Fraser, and this has been the Nintendo Nerds.